For me, the difference between an ordinary or a simple art project by an artist in a gallery maybe, and a public art project is that a public art project has public engagement. With this, the artist gets to decide what that public engagement is, and parts of Ireland have got very good at allowing the artist to decide what kind of public engagement they would like to have. Some cases there are large numbers of people involved in projects, and in other cases there might just be one member of the public as the subject or the collaborator on a public art project. There is lots of good music in the world, and there's lots of bad music in the world. And there is a theory that in the area of music that you need 9 bad songs to have one good song. So it's all about the relations of and the numbers of art projects that are developed. In Ireland, what has improved is the facility for artists to evaluate their work and to figure out for them, was it a good project or was it a bad project? And with this, the commissioner may be happy with the project and the artist may not be happy with the project. So there is always levels of compromise that are involved. But the Percent for Art scheme has got better about allowing artists to fail in a project with very little consequence to their own practice afterwards, which is very good. There are examples of this as well, where an artist may plan a project to happen within 6 months and it may take much longer, and for the commissioner this can be difficult. But if the product or the project in the end is good quality, then that balances out. And the Finola Jones project, which was developed in Ireland with a group of teenagers in a choir, where they worked over originally 6 months but eventually 18 months to convert the soundtrack of a Tom and Jerry cartoon into a 7-minute choral performance work. And so 18 months was spent working on a 7-minute performance. And for the commissioner, this is a big leap of faith and a big sense of trust that's required to allow this project to happen. But the result was absolutely amazing. But I think the key with the fact that the Eiffel Tower wasn't in Paris, was not popular at all at the time, was that within a period of time it became accepted by the public. And artists would tell you stories about the fact that, in all walks of life, human beings do not deal with change very well. It takes us all an amount of time to accept things that are new in our environment or in our lives in general. So I think the key there is, if the commissioner can take responsibility and develop ways to talk to the public about the work, give them the chance to meet the artist, then perhaps over time the project can be accepted by the public. There's also an interesting comparison there with other art forms. Most visual arts, or most public art all over the world, is developed by visual artists. About 75% of public art internationally is made by visual artists. And in general, particularly in Ireland, the public have much more opinions about other art forms. We have almost the highest rate of cinema-going audiences in Europe. So large amounts of people in Ireland go to the cinema and they watch movies and they come out and they say, I liked this movie, I didn't like this movie. And that's absolutely fine. Music as well is the same. People listen to music and say, I really like this song, I really don't like this song. Whereas in public art and visual art, there is this expectation that the public must like it. And if they don't like it, that they must be wrong or they must be missing the point. Whereas, like all art, the public are allowed to like it or not like it, and that's okay. No, there aren't any standard definitions of what public is in the area of public art, and in discussions in Ireland around what public art is, you will hear a lot of ideas from people about that there is not one public, there are many publics, and we all form part of these many publics. In our work we are part of a public or a group. In our home life we are another public. In our hobbies we are a public. Within our family groups. So there are various layers to which this term public could be addressed, but it's quite broad and it's very flexible. That we're part of a group, we're an individual, we're a specialist within an area. So that flexibility is there, thankfully. I think probably if I had to define what public art was in Ireland or in other countries, I think what makes public art unique is that artist project happened in that particular place and is unique to that particular place, those people and the time that it was developed in. And I think good public art happens when that project changes if it moves to another location. So it is very specific to that particular place. But I would be reluctant to ask people to always appreciate public art, because again I think art is all about having an opinion. Culture is all about having an opinion. And in Ireland, there is a broad definition of culture in the area of arts, in the area of sports, in the area of food. And in these other areas, people find it absolutely acceptable to have an opinion and a difference of opinion about what they like in food and what they like in music. And in the area of visual art, they find it confusing that they should like. So I think that freedom is there for people to engage with the art project and to form their own opinion. And I suppose what's good about in Ireland, because public art has developed beyond sculpture, including sculpture, but into the area of contemporary art, It allows people to engage with art as an experience, not just an object. I think the difficulties that can happen with the scheme is that it has to be included at the start of the project, and that can be difficult. So you are dependent on architects and engineers to invite an artist or to work with a public art programme to make sure that an artist gets included, and that can be difficult because that process may need to start 2 to 3 years before the first construction project starts, or the actual construction project starts. The road starts to get built, but the artist may need to be included a long time before that, and that can be difficult. What you're doing there is you're hoping that there is a sense of trust between the engineers that I work with and the architects, that they will want to include an artist and they will want to hear what an artist has to say. And there have been some fantastic Irish architects that I have worked with who would tell you things that artists have the ability to tell us something that we don't already know. And this can be a very good thing to include in an engineering project. Yeah. Public art in Ireland has developed considerably in the last 10 years, and artists' ideas have developed alongside of this. And in the past, the scheme, the Percent for Art scheme in Ireland was known as the Artistic Embellishment Scheme, and artists found this very difficult. They felt that they were being asked to make nice jewellery for large buildings, and they really resented this. Whereas public art projects now have become much, much broader, and artists are asked to work with local communities. They are asked to work with architectural and design teams on the development of projects. They have the opportunity to work with local communities on specific projects, and they also have the opportunity to do a skills exchange where they can teach each other, local community, so there is a huge breadth to this. The role that I had with the Arts Council was to work with government departments to make the voice of the artist heard. And it's a very privileged role, and to do this I had to have constant contact with artists. So I had to be constantly aware of how artists worked, that they wanted to develop sound art projects, they wanted to develop multimedia projects. So there was an absolute privilege about having this insight into how artists works, and then making the government departments aware of this, that there is a real opportunity there to get a unique insight that they should not ignore.